This is Special Effects Academy's Forex Trader Accelerator program session on virtual private servers, what they are and why you would need one. So what is a VPS? VPS, of course, standing for Virtual Private Server. You've heard of the cloud, right? It's all the buzzword when you're talking about the internet, how computers are in the cloud. That's really just a fancy term for a data center that's connected to the internet. And the data center, in turn, is simply a secure facility. It's a huge building where companies house hundreds, sometimes thousands of computers. These are not regular computers. They are high-capacity computers called servers. Data centers also have guaranteed uptime, usually, of better than 99.999%. That means that expected downtime over a year can be counted in minutes. Sometimes it's as low as 0. So you have a computer that is on around the clock, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It's always up and running. These data centers have staff that are monitoring the power supplies. They're monitoring the individual computers. They have screens where they get alerts and errors if anything is going wrong with any of the thousands of computers they host. And if there is a problem, somebody is on it almost immediately. Usually, however, there are no problems. Now, a virtual private server is not even a computer. It is a tiny bit of one of these computers mentioned above that behaves as if it were an independent server. It's like a timeshare on a computer. You don't need to rent out an entire computer, which can cost quite a lot of money. You're simply renting out a piece that is running a bit of software that makes it think that that portion of that computer is an entirely separate individual computer. And that little bit, that little virtual computer is yours if you are the one renting out that service. So why do you need one? Well, this is what you get when you get a VPS from one of these providers. You get a server for a very, very low price. We're talking usually somewhere between $5 and $10 a month. So it's a lot less than your cable bill, and you have access to a server that is hosted in a secure data center, monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, always up and running, or almost always up and running, and you do not need to worry about it. So you're getting that server at a very cheap price. We're going to show you how to get one for free, by the way, for 1 year. It's always up and running. That means that whatever programs you're running on it are also always up and running. It's state of the art. You don't need to worry about what generation of computer you're using, when you have to do updates or upgrades. That's all taken care of. It is secure, provided you don't get sloppy with your passwords and all that. Nobody else is going to be able to access this machine, not even the people running the data center. So you're the only one with access to it through the internet. It's going to be managed for you within reason. No one can protect people from their own stupidity. I'm going to put it that bluntly. So if you do something that shouldn't be done on the server, like download software from the internet whose source you don't know, it's likely you're going to infect the server with a virus and nobody can protect you from that. So you have the responsibility of what you're going to install on your virtual private server. The data center is not going to help you there. But everything else in general, the management of that piece of computer and the power supplies and making sure it's up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all that is taken care of for you. And why do you really need one? Well, it's going to allow you to have your trading console always up and running in the cloud. If you're using something like a CopyTrader or any other mechanism to get automatic trades, and you're running this off of your PC, and for whatever reason your PC loses connectivity to the internet, or you suffer a power loss, or your computer simply gives up the ghost and you need to go buy a new one. During that time, your trading console is down. If you're going to be getting any automatic trades from some provider like us, we have a CopyTrader that you guys will have access to as part of your course. You can be making money there automatically, regardless of whether you're awake or you're asleep, provided that your trading console is hooked up to the CopyTrader. Having the trading console on a server means that you don't need to worry about that connection. It's always going to be up, and it isn't affected by whether you have internet or whether you lost power in your house or your office. It's simply always going to be up and running. And as I said, we're going to show you how to get one of these free for the first 12 months. So where do you sign up? Amazon has a 12-month free offer on a virtual private server. It's going to be their lowest tier of servers, so it's going to be a very small machine with 1 gigabyte of memory and this, that, and the other. But trust me, it's more than enough for you to run not just the trading console, but you can actually have 3 or 4 trading consoles running at the same time if you have more than one account that you would like to store on the cloud. And now we're going to walk you through the different steps involved here. Oh, before I leave this slide, you may want to start typing down that address somewhere in your browser. It's https://aws.amazon.com/free/. That will get you to the next page that we're going to see. So once you type that address in your browser, you're going to see this page. And as you can see, AWS, Amazon Web Services, they're offering a free tier. It enables you to gain free hands-on experience with the AWS platform, products, services, blah, blah, blah. So what we're going to do right now is you're going to click on that button in your browser, not here on this presentation, in your browser that says create a free account. You can be doing this simultaneously to listening to me, or you can be listening to me on one device, doing this on another device, your choice, or you can take notes and do it on your own later. But I'm going to walk you through what you're going to be seeing as you set up your free virtual private server, free for 12 months. After 12 months, they will start to charge you, but it's going to be a small charge. As I said, $5, $10 a month, something like that. It's not a burden, especially if you're already making money trading. This is a year out. You should be making decent money by then, and there should be no problem for you paying for something this inexpensive. So click on that create a free button that you see there on the screen, obviously in your browser. And that is going to, in turn, take you to the next page in the sequence. So click right there, and we move on. Once you click on that button, you will be presented with a screen that allows you to create an AWS account. So it is going to ask for what you would normally expect from one of these services. It's going to ask for your email address. It's going to allow you to set up a password. You're going to be asked to confirm the password, and you're going to be asked to name the account. You can give it whatever name you want. It really doesn't matter. I'm calling this one Trader Demo, simply for the exercise. And then you're going to hit that continue button at the bottom, the orange button, which will take you to the next screen. Now, this next screen is going to be asking for your personal information. So I would recommend you choose professional as the account type. There's really not much of a difference. So just click on whichever one, but I'm clicking on professional. Give it your full name. Give it your company name. If you don't have one, I recommend you do open a company name, that you incorporate, because it's just easier for the taxes when it comes to trading. But that will be covered in a much later session. For now, you can either make something up or just use your name and DBA, doing business as something else. It's going to ask for your phone number, your country or region. Amazon is a global company. It doesn't matter where you are. Just tell it where you are and it will adjust for the address. And then you're going to scroll down and you're going to give it your full address. You're going to give it your city, your state, province, or region, and your postal code. Then you're going to click on that checkbox. You're going to make sure it's checked that says that you have read and agreed to the terms of the AWS customer agreement. I don't read these agreements. I consider that a waste of my time. They're going to say the same thing, you know, don't do illegal stuff on our services, and we reserve the right to reject you at any time, and there's no guarantees, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to read it, click on AWS customer agreement and you can read the whole thing. Otherwise, just click on the check mark and hit create account and continue. Next, and this is where it gets a little bit delicate. So obviously I have a lot of the information blanked out here on my screen, but you will need to give it a valid credit or debit card number. Now, they're not going to charge you right now. They're not going to charge you for 12 months, but they use this for two purposes. One, to verify your identity. They're going to make sure that that credit card is active and it's registered to the name you gave it in the prior screen, that the address registered to the credit card is also the same one you gave them. So there's a little bit of verification that goes on, as well as they want to make sure they have a valid credit card on file for you for when they need to charge you a year out. As it says above, we will not charge you unless your usage exceeds the AWS free tier limits. Trust me, like I said, you will not exceed these limits if you're just running one trading console on the server. Indeed, I run up to 4 at a time without exceeding these free tier limits. And there is a link for frequently asked questions that you can click on if you want more information. For now, you're going to need to give it your credit or debit card number, the expiration date, the cardholder's name. It doesn't need to be the same as your name. You can have somebody else pay for it if you don't have a credit card, but they need to have that name, the name that's physically on the card. The billing address, which is normally going to be my own address, the one I already gave them in the prior screen, or it can be a different address. It is whatever billing address is assigned to the card. And we're going to scroll down. And once you've filled out everything on this page, simply type in secure submit. I'm sorry, not type in, click on the secure submit button. That will take you to the next screen. And here it's going to use the phone number you gave it to call you up. And this is another verification that you are you and that you gave them a phone number that you control. So AWS, Amazon is going to be calling you as soon as you hit that call me now button at the bottom of the screen. So it's going to show the phone number that you'd already provided, or if you hadn't provided one, I forget if it was in one of the prior screens. Well, if you hadn't provided one, you type it out here and you type in those characters in the CAPTCHA. That's what that area with the 5BX7FP is called. It's a CAPTCHA. That's to prevent automated bots basically from filling out these screens and trying to create free accounts. So it's to verify that you're a human. So you need to type those characters out below the CAPTCHA and then hit call me now. Once you do that, once it accepts all your information, it'll pop up a little a window that says that there is a call in progress. And they're going to be calling you on that phone number, and they will give you instructions to type in that number that's being displayed on your screen. In this example, it is 8412. Obviously, that number is going to be different for you when you run through this process. So whatever number it is, you're going to get that call. You answer the call. It will tell you after the beep, use your keypad to type in the 4 digits, this, that, and the other. And once you have done that, it verifies that indeed you're the owner of that phone and that you are the one that is filling out these screens. And it will tell you that you have been verified. You don't need to do anything on the computer. As soon as you type in the 4 numbers on the phone, this next window will pop up with a big green check mark saying that your identity has been verified successfully. And you will click on that continue button. That will actually conclude the sign-up process. So now you have an account within the system. And they're going to be asking you to select a support plan. In this case, as I mentioned, we want the free basic plan. So you can see that orange button there on the screen. You can see that they have some other options that range from $29 to $100 a month. Ignore that. That's for heavy duty processing servers and this, that, and the other. You will never need that. The basic plan is always going to be enough for you. That is included with all accounts. It has 24/7 self-service access to all their resources. It uses best practices to make sure that you're up to date on security and performance. And it has access to all the dashboards that tell you how your server is running. And of course, it will send you notifications if there's anything that's not running properly. I rarely have had any issues at all. No need for notifications or anything like that. But should it happen, it's there. So you're going to click on that free button, which will take you to the end of the final, the end of the sign-up process. So now you have an account created and you have selected that free tier of services that Amazon is offering for 12 months. Now it takes you to the very beginning where you sign into the console. So now you're going to need to click on that button. It will take you to a screen asking for your email. This is the email address you gave Amazon when you signed up in the prior screens. You are going to hit that blue next button, and it will ask for that password that also is the password you gave it in the prior screens. And you click on sign in, and that's it, you're in. Now, I would recommend that once you're seeing this AWS Management Console, you take a moment to bookmark that URL so that at any point in time you can return here and you're going to get the basic console so you can manage your services. So take a moment right now, depending on your browser, it's going to be a different way of doing it, but just bookmark that URL that you see there at the top. Then at any point in time, you can go into your bookmarks and simply come back to this page at will. So what are we doing? We have nothing created yet. There is no server yet. All we've done is open up an account. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down, actually not scroll down, it's there on the screen already. We're going to click where it says, and I'm going to highlight it, launch a virtual machine. So we're going to be clicking on that blue text that says launch a virtual machine, and that will take us to the next screen in the sequence. So once we've told it that we want to build or create a machine, a virtual machine, it will ask us what operating system we want to use, starting with Amazon Linux, AMI, blah, 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 as it says at the top. You do not want that one. So scroll down, use the scroll bar to scroll down, and eventually you will come to Microsoft Windows Server 2016 base. That is the one you want. So you want to select this one right here. And as you can see, it does say that it is free tier eligible. So it will not be charging. It's going to be giving you a Microsoft Windows Server that is running a 64-bit operating system from Microsoft. That's all you want to do. Just click on that one, click on the blue select button, and that will take you to the next screen in the sequence. Now that next screen is simply going to be confirming what we've already selected. So you can see the blue check mark on the second row. general purpose. It is a T2 micro. It's their second smallest server that they offer. The T2 Nano is not going to be enough. This one is a virtual server, which is providing you one virtual CPU, 1 gigabyte of memory, and the storage is, I forget how much storage they offer, but it's more than sufficient for what you are going to be doing. You don't need to do anything else on this screen other than hit that review and launch blue button at the bottom of the screen. So no changes. This is just a confirmation. That will take you to the next screen where you will see only the row that you selected. It's telling you that's T2 micro with one virtual CPU, 1 gigabyte of memory, etc., etc. And again, you don't need to do anything there other than hit that blue launch button at the bottom right-hand side of the screen, which will take you to our next screen, or rather will make a pop-up appear on the screen on top of what we were looking at. So this is basic housekeeping. You don't need to understand what it is. You need to follow the instructions here. If you do understand what all this means, congratulations to you. You are an IT professional. Well done. But you do not need to understand this. What we're going to do now is click on that drop down, which originally says choose an existing key pair. And we're going to select create a new key pair. This is part of the security. It's going to do some encryption. It's going to generate a key, and it's going to send it to you so that you have a means of verifying that you're authorized in the future to access this server. So the first time you run this, of course, it's telling you that no key pairs are found, which is why you need to create a new key pair. Once you select that option, then you are going to be presented with the opportunity to name it. And here, give it any name you like, but make sure it is a name that you will be able to remember afterwards. In this case, I am calling it AWS-key-pair. That way I'll remember exactly what I want. And then you're going to click where it says download key pair. That is going to download a file to your computer which you want to save. It's going to have that name that we gave it. You want to save that file. That is the only way you're going to be able to access your server going forward. So please do not lose that file. We click on download, and it will ask us, open with Notepad or save file. We want to select save file. I want to save this to my hard drive. Usually anything we save from the browser is going to be stored in a folder called downloads, unless you have changed the settings in your operating system. So regardless, you should know where this is being stored, and you want to save that file, and you want to click OK. And that will save the file automatically, and then it will go into a screen that will tell you that it's initiating the instance launches. That just means it's creating your virtual server. It then almost immediately takes you to another screen that tells you that your instances are launching. The following instance launches have been initiated. It's going to give you the name of your server and the opportunity to view a log of all the activities that it's doing. No need to do anything here. You will see that there is an area that allows you to get notified of estimated charges. You can create billing alerts that if you go beyond the free usage tier, it will send you an email telling you that you're either getting near to exceeding it or that you have exceeded. You can do this. There's no reason not to. If you want, click on that and set up your alerts. I'm not doing it because I've done this before, and I know for a fact that I will not be exceeding my usages if I stick to anywhere between 1 and 4 trading consoles on the server and do nothing else with it. And that's what I plan on doing, so I don't need the notification. Then what we're going to do here is we're going to scroll down. So we're going to scroll down, and we're going to find a blue button that says View Instances. We're going to click on that blue button. And this is the console for managing the servers. It's telling me that it is creating this instance ID. It's running and it's initializing, so it's not ready yet, but it is initializing. After a while, this will change and it will tell us that everything is done, status checks, it's ready, and then I'm going to click on this connect button at the top. Once I click on that button, it's going to ask me whether I want to connect to my instance. Normally, you do this by downloading a remote desktop file. Do not do that yet. First, we have to get the password. We do not have the password for that computer. Amazon has not given it to us. What we do have is a key code file that we downloaded in that prior step, if you remember. So we're going to tell it to get the password. When we do that, it will tell us that it already knows that there is a file called aws-key-pair.pem, or whatever name you gave that file. We're going to have to click on Browse to find it. That will open another pop-up that will take me automatically to my downloads. In case yours doesn't, well, you need to figure out where that file got saved and look for it. I'm going to give it the file name. I'm going to click Open. And that is immediately going to populate this area with what is called an RSA private key. This is the contents of the file. And this is an encryption key. And then I am going to click on Decrypt Password. That will automatically give me the current password of the server. This is the initial password. Look at what this can do for you. So it's a very complicated bit of a password there. But more importantly, what you have to realize is that if you change the password on the server, which you probably will at a future time, this will no longer work. So make sure that whenever you change the password, and even this initial password, you save it somewhere. If it still has the initial password, you can recover it at any time. But once you change it, you will no longer be able to do this. So you want to copy this password that it gave you and paste it into a notepad or a document file and save it somewhere. Make sure you do not lose the password. And you want to copy it from the beginning to the end, the entire string there. Normally, you will see a little copy icon here at the end of the password. You can just click on that and it will copy it to the clipboard, or you can highlight the entire password and also do your regular copy to the clipboard. It's easier with the little icon. Normally, it's right here beside the password. Once you have copied it, then you're going to click on Download Remote Desktop File. This is almost the final step. We are going to do a save, and this is going to save yet another file. This is the name it's going to have, EC2-18, blah, blah, blah. In my case, this will be different for yours, because from the 18 to the 157 is an IP address. That IP address is unique to my server. You will be getting a different one. Plus, depending on your geography, it may have assigned you to a different region within Amazon. You might not be US East 2. So just make sure you recognize this file and you're going to save it. It is also going to be saved to your download folder, whatever that one is. And once we've verified all this, we're going to hit that OK button. And that will get it saved. We're going to go back for 1 second, because once we saved it and we know where it is, just to make things easier, do the whole process again. So you're going to go back here and you're going to click again on Download Remote Desktop File, but you're going to click Open With. And that will take you to automatically, it's going to be opening a remote desktop connection. Should you need to do this in the future, you can just look for that file in your downloads. But for now, it was simply easier to do it with a direct open. I wanted you to save it first, because if you do it this way, that file will not get saved, which means every time you need to connect to the server, you need to run through this whole set of screens to get to the remote desktop connection. So we've killed two birds with one stone. You're going to click on Don't Ask Me Again for connections to this computer, and you're going to click on Connect. It will pop up this window asking you to enter your credentials. Here's where you're going to copy paste. You're going to paste that password that you copied in that prior step. So this is the administrator password. We've already got it in the clipboard or in a notepad document. You're going to copy it, make sure it's in the clipboard, and you're going to paste it here. And you're going to activate this Remember Me checkbox. So in the future, unless you change this password, it's not going to ask for the password again, and we're going to click on OK. It will pop up another verification, and it's telling us that the certificate is not from a trusted authority. Ignore that. Just click on Don't Ask Me Again for connections to this computer and hit Yes. That will start the connection. As you can see, there is a tiny pop-up here telling me it's connecting to blah, 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 blah. And the next thing I'm going to see is that I'm actually connected to the server. This is now going to be a screen on my computer. It's a different app, but I'm no longer seeing my menu of Windows. I'm seeing the menu of the server. And this is a blank server. It's telling you what the host name is, the instance, the IP address. This is your virtual machine. It has nothing in it other than the operating system. In a future session, we're going to cover how to install that trading console on this server so that it's running all the time. But the first step you need to do is make sure that you have a server, a virtual private server that is up and running and you know how to access it. You will see, and that's not shown in this screen copy, but at the top of the virtual screen up here, you're going to see a little tab that allows you to minimize or maximize or totally close the virtual private server. So you can hit for now the minimize. You can leave this always connected. If you minimize it, it's going to become a little icon in your regular desktop, and you can return to that one at any time. So this is the end of this tutorial. You should by now have ended up with a virtual private server of your own with a password for the administrator account and an RDP, a remote desktop protocol file that you can use at any time. You just double click that RDP file and you are automatically connected to the server. That's going to be it. If you have any comments or questions, of course, always feel free to contact us via email or attend any of our Trader Accelerator Program Q&A sessions. We schedule these regularly. There's usually at least 2 a week, sometimes even 4. And they're scheduled around different times of day. So no matter where around the planet you happen to be, you will always have one that matches your open schedule. And of course, you always have lifetime access to these sessions as well. So do feel free to replay this as often as you need to in order to get your virtual private server set up. Thank you very much.